Welcome back to the final episode of Glossy Girl Gossip. I'm your host, Courtney, and this is episode 3. In this episode, we'll discuss the research question, how do TikTok and Instagram use algorithms, content loops, and filters to perpetuate ideas of beauty and body standards amongst Generation Z and Alpha audiences? In this week's episode, we'll be analyzing media tech such as the movie The Uglies, Paradise, #AreReal, and all of which each character probably undergoes a popular cosmetic surgery that is actually permanent. So, once again, because social media has grown to be one of the most used social media places to connect women and teenage girls of alpha audiences to all of these filters. According to researchers, social media platforms have purposely designed their apps to keep people engaged for long periods of time. A pattern you might not be aware of are personalized recommendations of beauty and body standards on these apps, and you might get notifications from influencers that you might not follow, and that's simply because you've liked their videos before and you've reposted it multiple times, or you've stayed on that video for quite a while. These loops basically attract your attention, making you stay on the app longer. These patterns are all related to internet addictions. Internet addictions that affect the emotional and mental health of its users, and it alters the everyday life as well. So how does this connect to TikTok and Instagram, and how they use algorithms, content loops, and filters to perpetuate these beauty standards? Well, women and young girls who spend more time on TikTok and Instagram also spend a lot of time trying to perfect their own images. They tend to stay in the mirror for a long time. The algorithms for these apps use your data and echo chambers to catch your attention. For example, when you watch one video of skincare routines, makeup tutorials, or fitness videos, your feed actually gets flooded with the same content over and over. So to everyone, you should have perfect skin. You should have that perfect body. And that's basically not realistic. That's an unrealistic beauty standard. Many of these videos are heavily edited and filter based, and they are actually digitally altered, which means they alter your appearance digitally to make it seem like you are perfect to a consumer. According to researchers, France has actually created a Photoshop law that mandates labels on digitally modified content to basically alleviate the rise in unrealistic beauty standards that lead to mental health issues, beauty and body concerns, eating disorders, and body dissatisfactions. This is due to the increase of internet addictions. Moving on to uses and gratifications, which basically examines the motivations and behavior of consumers, how and why they use social media. We all know that social media is used to stay connected with family and friends. It is also used as a form of escapism. So, how does this connect to why Instagram and TikTok use algorithms, content loops, and filters to perpetuate these ideas? Many women and teenage girls, they use these two apps to basically discover new trends, new fashion ideas, beauty, fitness, hairstyle, and even try to get a confidence boost. But it's good to be encouraged and self-express more. But the problem with social media and these apps is you shouldn't turn inspiration into comparison, pretty much. What people fail to realize is a lot of influencers actually do use filters, edited apps, and expensive skincare routines to make them upkeep this perfect look. And sometimes they actually do undergo plastic cosmetic surgeries. Research has proven that constant comparison leads to low self-esteem, depression, eating disorders, and body dissatisfactions, and that's common amongst Generation Z and Alpha audiences when it comes to teenage girls and women. Let's get into the priming and framing. Priming is basically how people judge what is being shown in the media. Exposure to certain media message has an influence on how we think and what we notice. Framing in social media doesn't just tell users what to think about, it also influences how we think about certain content that we see. So, how are the two connected to the research topic that we've been discussing over and over? Basically, when you binge scroll on TikTok or Instagram, you see the same type of people going viral all the time. Someone slim or like someone overly beautiful. Women and teenage girls are exposed to these influencers who promote being thin, beauty goals like clear skin, long hair, even facial features and more. You're exposed to unrealistic beauty standards, and it messes up your mental health sometimes. Being exposed to these things basically primes the consumer to believe that this is how you become popular and successful, by being attractive. So let's dive into framing, like how framing affects this. TikTok and Instagram love to frame being beautiful as something that will align you with success, confidence, and popularity. And they also frame it to it'll make you happy, but happiness lies from within. We constantly see influencers post and glorify their glow up, but we fail to see what normal human imperfections are, such as acne scars, wrinkles, stretch marks, gap teeth, disabilities, and so forth. That's a powerful and dangerous message, actually. So let's look at a few media texts that depict examples of how TikTok and Instagram use algorithms and content loops to perpetuate beauty and body standards amongst Generation Z and Alpha audiences. So in today's society, beauty is more of a requirement. A great example of this would be a Netflix movie titled Uglies. And this is a film about teenagers who undergo mandatory cosmetic plastic surgeries when they are 16 years old. It is based in the dystopian era. So basically, beauty in that world is presented as a key to happiness, acceptance, and that big social status. Those who refuse the surgery and the ugliest, they actually have to go through a challenge or a fight to basically stay in the community, and they are actually viewed as an outsider until they do undergo that plastic surgery. Even though this is a fictional dystopian film, it still intersects with how the research topic pertains to how TikTok and Instagram uses filters and things of that nature to perpetuate these beauty ideas and beauty standards. It still exemplifies challenges that women and teenage girls face in society. Instead of cosmetic surgery, the group of individuals face peer pressure from social media trends like filters and over editing, beauty trends, and body trends. Once these are pushed on social media through algorithms, content loops, and user generated data, it's pretty much hard to get it off of your feed as a consumer. To them, if you change your appearance, you change your social status in life. Another example is a Netflix movie called Paradise. Basically, if you go under cosmetic surgery, you get money to help your family. This film is centered around society where youth and appearance and social status becomes a currency. Social media has curated similar environments that reward attractive influencers. So like over time, you'll see more and more beauty influencers, but they're getting paid to actually push out these agendas to make it look like because I'm beautiful, I'm successful. The next media text that we'll discuss is a campaign called #AreReal. Now, this campaign actually uses social media, like they frame social media in a positive way. Rather than using heavily edited photos and videos, they actually use models with natural body types. So you'll see more women with gap teeth. You'll see more women with disabilities, stretch marks, and just things you wouldn't see in media when it comes to women, when it comes to beauty. It also helps reduce negative psychological behaviors, and it helps reduce that mental health and self-esteem issue. As this episode comes to an end, let's revisit the 4 communication theories and concepts that we've discussed. Internet addictions help us understand why we spend all of our time on internet platforms, social media platforms that continuously curate beauty and body standards every single day, and just unrealistic content. Uses and gratification explain why we chose social media as a form of entertainment, inspiration, and self-identification. And priming identifies how repeated exposure to certain media text teaches us what beauty is and what it's supposed to look like. Framing explains how apps like TikTok and Instagram align and connect beauty and body standards with success, popularity, and happiness, even though things like diversity and natural human beauty that is not portrayed, like it's just ignored in the media. So the images we see on the internet make a difference, and it makes an impact. They shape expectation, they influence confidence, and it also affects how we see ourselves every single day. So thank you for tuning into episode 3 of Glossy Girl Gossip. I'll see you next time in the last episode.